Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much. Kutumwa ikala mkwai, ikale ni mkwai. Thank you, Minister. Mkwai. Thank you very much. Let me start by acknowledging our traditional leaders that are ministers today. Abena bakasensa. Abena bakasensa. Your Royal Highnesses, in your big numbers, we appreciate your presence here today. Let me acknowledge my colleagues in Cabinet, with whom we had to persuade each other to make the decision as to who joins us in owning first and then managing Mopani. And I want to change the messaging that we are running today. We are not handing over Mopani. Government remains a shareholder in Mopani, as you have heard, 49%, but we are bringing in new partners, these that I want to acknowledge their presence today, our esteemed visitors, partners from Abu Dhabi, led by the chief executives of IHC and IRH. Very, very grateful to have you here today with us. Let me acknowledge the presence here today of our provincial leadership, the Minister of the province, but also it is in order to recognize the Mayor of the city of Kitwe, other mayors, chairpersons that are present here today. It is in order to acknowledge members of parliament from different political parties in this, our constitutional democracy. We acknowledge all of you and thank you for the things that you've said. Two people born out of the same mother, same father, give them time to say something. Sometimes they say different things. And that's okay. That's the diversity, unity in diversity that we encourage. I must also acknowledge the presence of church leaders who are ministers today. I must acknowledge the public officers, those who work for the public central government, senior ones, permanent secretaries, those who work for the local government, those that work for parastatus and quasi-government institutions. It is in order to recognize, in my view, humble view, that the business community are important and we must recognize them. Suppliers, unions must be recognized. Special recognition to our vehicle, the vehicle that the people of Zambia have used, not today, have been using to own some of our shares in the mining companies. ZCCM-IH, obviously IDC, and others. I know the chair of ZCCM-IH spoke. Thank you for your presence. It's also my duty to recognize members of the press who sometimes we ignore until the story doesn't come out the way we like it. Then we phone them and say, what happened there? Why didn't you report correctly? So we recognize you, the media. And warm recognition to the community of Kitwe, Mufrila, and Abena Kopala Bonse, we recognize you here, present here, and indeed those that are watching through the technology that is available to us now, today, these days. Celebrating a new culture, celebrating a new chapter, celebrating a new beginning as our UPND government leadership, the party leadership. We said before when we were in opposition that this party will look at the country and manage the country differently, but better. I know many argued with us and said, So, but let me say, the leadership of our party, without you, we would have never had the opportunity to do what we're doing today, because we would have never been in government. We know what you went through to deliver this party on the copper belt. Lubuli sana kuno, lubuli, nkondo, mfuti. But your resilience brought us into office and the ordinary citizen. I think it's time to say thank you to you. Thank you to you. Let me return to celebrating a new chapter. Here in Mopani, as a business, on the copper belt, in the country, but using Mopani as a reference point today. Today marks a pivotal occasion for the copper belt and Zambia as a whole, bringing a breath of fresh air, a new start for Mopani Mines. A mine, as Bankambo, our leader, our chief said, an old Bedford truck dumped at the dumping site. And some looked at Mopani as one just to throw liabilities at, loosely, just like that. You dump $1.5 billion of liability on a mine, on an asset that is worth something else. But today, we are saying Mopani is a prized asset for us. For me as a cattleman, a prized bull, a prized breeding heifer. Today, we celebrate the rejuvenation of Kitwe, of Mufrila. Honorable Mabeta, Honorable Mumba. The rejuvenation of Mafken. That's what we call Mufrila. Mafken. Something that was taken as a place to dump liabilities. I repeat, today we are saying this asset takes a new turn towards better days. The improvement of livelihoods in this region, on this copper belt. And I know people like to limit the way they look at things. Life is a bit more complex than that. You rejuvenate Kitwe, Chibuluma Road, as Honorable Mpundu and I discussed just 3 days after I assumed public office. He came to my house and challenged me, if you want me to support you, work on Chibuluma Road. I said, Maichewant, you've got it. Put it on the list. He challenged me that for me to prove that you are a real leader, you must resolve the Mopani problems. I said, by honorable, put it on the list. And Twalabo Mbelapo. That was at my house. His house. the community house. It's not a joke. This is serious. You only do things that you plan to do. You do things that you plan to do. You work on getting them done. In life, there's nothing called chance. I don't believe in chance myself. I must say here, I don't believe in lucky. Lucky comes because you have worked on something. Then things happen. And that's a lesson to the people of Zambia. Akubombeni, mlebomba, not kuikalafye, and expect a better life. This is one quarrel I have with us as Zambians. We must work hard. We must work in a targeted way, in a deliberate way, in an intentional way. Then we can get things done. Not tantamen. Not tantamen. No. No, 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 no. Apo kupusana. Apo kupusana. Chachine. Mule mafia tantamene, then ngatauli latawe. Ubuteko bulikwi. Boma ilikuti. Itwafeko. Boma will assist you, but you must start working first. As individuals, as families. I know today is a happy day. I don't want to say things that may make you feel a little bit down or down. But they must be said. What we're witnessing today is a consequence of hard work. And I'll say a few words just around those issues. The relaunch of Mopani Mine, with our new joint venture partners, working together, Wombela Chapamo, Chachin, International Resource Holdings, IRH, from Abu Dhabi. This is a significant moment that citizens raise questions about, and rightly so. Mayor of the city of Kitwe, you said you were struggling to look after the council and the local community of Kitwe for 2 years. No, you were struggling for the last 7 years. You're struggling for the last 7 years. Not 2 years. Awe mkwai. Ichi chintu cha Mopani, chali onaikakale. Before we form the government ourselves, we must get our facts right. Facts will help us to solve our problems and not point wrong fingers or fingers at the wrong people. But we're in it together. We're in it together. So, it is important that citizens who have waited for so long for this asset to be turned around today can celebrate. Today, they can look at Kitwe Mufurila through the prism of a rejuvenating Mopani in a different way. Elia Shirio. Tebio. Kale wangu, kale wangu, kale kale. Kale kale, kale kale, kale kale. Wangu tacherwa, tebio. Wangu tachita chani? Wangu tachita chani? Ivyo vine. Honoring our partners. Honoring our partners. Let's pay a special tribute to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the ruler of Abu Dhabi and president of UAE. Shortly after forming government, the president, your servant here, took a trip there. We scanned the world, geopolitics. We looked carefully in the east, in the west. We understood the challenges. You step just one step to the east, the west is squeaking. One step you are in Washington, Beijing is squeaking. You are in Beijing, Washington is squeaking. Fish village tikapa. We have Mopani to solve. Nobody will rush the shan. I said, we will not look east, we will not look west, we will look in the middle. We said we'll look at the GCC, the Gulf Cooperating Council. And we started working around. I don't want to say too much. The rest is history. You understand what I mean. And that's why we're here today. Those early steps, those deliberate steps. And we're happy that the ruler of Abu Dhabi and the president of UAE, United Arab Emirates, allowed his team, heard what we were looking for, and we found common ground. We found common ground. Kuti mwaupana shani ngatamate mwana. Ngakwabulo chitemwiko. Kuti kwaba ichopo. Kuti chaba shani. Divorce wangu. So we want to thank our colleague, my brother from there. We also want to give a special thanks to President of the UAE for another reason, for allowing His Highness Sheikh Tanoun bin Zayed Al Nahyan to do, the chairman of IHC, to allow him to support this process. Special appreciation for that. The team that we worked with from the early days. You know, sometimes Zambians can make you feel like you have been running the country for 10 years, when it's only 2 years, 6 months. Because they lampoon you with all the problems, even those that you inherited. Adiniwe. Hey. Ale pusho mukashi munganda. We mukashi wan. Naikosa. But then we said, it is important that as a country we do things deliberately, not by chance. So I want to say what you're witnessing today is not a chance issue. It's a deliberately orchestrated process to be where we are today. And I ask Zambians sometimes, make water patience. Otherwise, those before us, that's why Vale Posafe Fintu. Posafe $1.5 billion that you eat this state. Are we? Life is not like that. So thank you to our colleagues and the team that we worked with, Chairman. You are allowed to work with us. We're very grateful for that. Strategic developments, achievement. Upon taking office, we realized Mopani was a critical asset to Kitwe, to Mufrila, to Copperbelt, to Zambia. Critical asset. And we took a decision which culminated into what you're seeing today. This is a very important asset. Should never have been allowed to degenerate, to decline. Should have never been allowed to risk the integrity of the assets in Mopani in their totality. You pay the price. You do those things. And I hope the country is learning something out of this. Today is a confirmation that the two partners, UAE, Abu Dhabi in particular, Zambia, gave them mutual respect. You can only do such things if there's mutual respect. I'm honest with you. For my sins of the past, as a corporate finance guy, as a transactions guy, you can never consummate a transaction if there's no mutual respect. Never. Never works. You can try, but it will never work. So thank you for that mutual respect. We must cherish it, celebrate it. Let me disclose a few facts. Mopani was not only receiving capital injection, he is not just going to receive capital injection out of this transaction for mine development. It is also, this transaction, going to see a substantial debt reduction. In our country, we inherited a debt stock, official creditors, bilaterals, private creditors, as you know, bondholders, which we've been working very hard to resolve. Minister of Finance is here. We spent sleepless nights since we took office to resolve that, because we know that python is creating a problem for us, squeezing our necks, our ribs, and our legs, called Debt Mountain, which we inherited. We didn't create it. And we are trying to unwrap the python. Others are making noise. Ngamwaloresha wino, abale pange fyongo, eba letele nkongole. Fishi balera nda nomba pali. Mamon. So, but the point is that part of the debt mountain we're having to deal with is not just the official creditors and the private creditors, as you know. It is including in companies like Mopani. $1.5 billion of debt was lampooned on Mopani by ourselves, those who came before us. It's not about talking about those who were there before us. It's us as a people. It's us as a people, collective responsibility. But that debt grew to a level of $1.72 billion, thereabouts, just sitting in Mopani. This transaction has allowed us to unwrap this python of the $1.72 billion of debt on Mopani. And we brought it down, we brought the figure to somewhere around $576 million. These are the small details that Zambians need to understand. This is why there was need to work diligently over a period of time. If you take over a house and it doesn't get swept, it's not just the dirty you are seeing. Tefi kofi mule mona palia. Kwaliba nama rats under the cupboards there. Kwaliba nama rats, kwaliba nama Neshan. Nempemfu. So if you because behind what you saw as citizens, there were other complications. So we had to bring Glencoe on board. We had to bring suppliers. There were complications around suppliers who had not been paid, not for 2 years, for 4, 5, 6 years. There were complications around workers. The union leadership have spoken here. There were complications around the council. The mayor has spoken. There were complications in the constituencies. Avena mpundu, avena binwe mpundu na balandapa. Avena mabeta na balandapa, avena mumba na balandapa. Abenki na balandapa. So the complications were not what you were seeing like these two flags. When you see that Zambian flag, you see the green, you see the black color, orange, you see the red. Actually, to form that red color, there were more colors that were added there. That's the truth about life. So I am appealing to the people of Zambia that you must look between the lines when you are faced with problems and try and be part of the solution rather than be the problem, perpetual problem. Here we are. I don't think you knew about what I've just told you. I don't think so. So we had to deal with these issues. There were court cases. And I said to Kabuswe, Minister of Finance is here, Minister of Transport is here, Minister of Copperboard is here. This government doesn't want to do business in court. We don't want to mine in court, especially in courts in London. That are very expensive. Before you appear in court in London, you've already forked out $10,000 air ticket before you even find accommodation. So we had to take out these court matters and bring them in the boardrooms. Hence what we're witnessing today. I believe you can see what I'm talking about. Mopani's copper production, Abena Kitwe, Abena Mafken, went down to 65,000 metric tons only. With this transaction, the copper production for Mopani will scale up to 230,000 metric tons. Area Shiri, adding on towards our 3 million tons target. This is what you do when you run a country. You don't just walk like you are in the dark room. No. Kulolesha wino alolesha. Wafumamu. Wayamkulala. Ulelo tawino. No number faria iparia problem to alai sobashat. Wawelerapo na kabini. Wawelerapo na kabini. Fellow citizens, with this production increase that we expect, the mine plans we've agreed with our partners, the mine development plans, there will be more jobs. First, there will be security of tenure for the people who work there. Your jobs were fragile because you could lose a job any time. If the mine is not performing, your job is at stake. Mule kutika? Mule umfwa wino. Mule landata echecha alalanda fiaba complicated. This is simple stuff. This is simple stuff. Shilatampa magraph hapa. The jobs that are in Mopani, including the jobs of suppliers, my dear friends. Your jobs, the jobs of the people you employ as suppliers and contractors are anchored on the viability of Mopani. If Mopani is not viable, you cannot sustain your jobs. So you must support Mopani. You must support this transaction. Support this transaction. It is in your self-interest. Now you are being paid what you have not been paid for 4 years. It's a time to celebrate. It's a time to say thank you to someone, not me, but to the people of Zambia. To the people of Zambia. More jobs will come along. More jobs will come. More benefits to, more business opportunities will come, including to our marketeers at Chisokone markets. Because my customers' number, Bakulaisa, Muitumba. Muitumba, there will be something. Because it's coming from the mine. Kasamthing, Kasamthing. All of us will benefit. That's what I'm calling strategic benefits that will come out of this transaction. National pride. Let me talk for a while. National pride. Just our Zambian pride. That the Zambians, today's Zambians, through this transaction, through ZCCM-IH, you are retaining 49%, as you have heard. So this is not a handover. It's welcoming a new partner. This pride, indeed. You will remain owners. You will participate at the board level. You participate at the management level. You participate in the job profiling. Bamumba na bavoka kale. Bamumba nga bavoka deep voice. Kumfa ebe balelani. More jobs. Yes, there will be more jobs. Quality jobs. But he raised something that people didn't pick. I like to watch the body language. When he was talking about workers of suppliers and contractors, he raised a criticism here that if they are being paid by Mopani, they too must pay their workers. I think that's what he was saying here. So, now, national pride. This is very important. Let me move on to local benefits. Very briefly, the introduction of a supplier development program in partnership with UNDP is part of the menu. Supplier development program. Former Zambian suppliers so that they can supply in a credible and decent manner. Very important. Training them, working with them. I know Nabakwata experience, but there's need to have the experience where you deliver your product or your service which is of quality at a fair price and you deliver on time. Fin to finger, quality, fair price, on time. No. This is why the country's economy went down to minus 2.8% GDP growth, because we're delivering air. And those who were delivering umwela, Ebale shouta sana, I've not been paid. I've not been paid. But they delivered air. Anyway, you people behind, don't motivate me to say more things. Just let me. So, supplier development program in partnership with UNDP, in partnership with the Chamber of Mines and the unions and the suppliers themselves, so that we work as one team. Very important. This program will enhance the capacity of Zambian suppliers. It will also assist you, the suppliers, and invariably your workers, to access capital. Very important. Capital in your businesses. Fairly priced capital. Minister of Mines, Minister of Finance, Minister of the Copper Belt, I am using this opportunity to explain through this transaction Zambian government UPND policies as well. These are the ones I'm talking about here. But you can't implement policies on your own. You need partners like this. You need unions. You need supplier associations. You need the workers to cooperate. Honorable Mabeta, I heard what you said here. I took mental notes. All the MPs who have spoken, we heard. But we want to work in a way that we promote workers' interests in this Mopani, so that workers are better looked after, including social corporate responsibility or programs. But we want to promote suppliers also, so that they supply correctly, effectively. We also want to support the company so that we don't sink Mopani because of this transaction and tatulefuya sangwapo mulekutika tatulefuya sangwapo now, draining the business to a point that it cannot be viable. If it's not be viable, we all lose. Simple. So it's in our interest to support Mopani to be commercially viable. So everything we say we need must be put in context so that the workers are happy, suppliers are happy, unions are happy, Kitwe State Council is happy, Mufrila is happy, the mine is also happy and is progressing. Shareholders are also happy. Kwa bulama shareholders, there will be no money we are talking about here. I thought I should give this small lecture. So there is always diversified interests, which we must take account of. The coin has two sides, right? If you flip it, you see the heads. Someone says, how is the coin? How does it look like? Now quarter head. But flip it the other, tail. But it's one coin. So we want this coin called Mopani to survive all round, to succeed all round. Future vision, international investments. I want Zambian companies, I urge Zambian companies, business people here, emulate the success of our counterparts, these from Abu Dhabi, from UAE. Let's emulate what they've achieved. Look at this country. I've been studying this country. I read, I research, I look, and I say, they've moved. 50 years ago, what was this country? What was this country 50 years ago? What is it today? Kubomba. Let us work as a country. Honestly speaking, if you can't learn some lesson from colleagues, I don't know what sort of person you are. Me, I'm a perpetual student. I'm learning every day. Even when I'm dreaming, I'm learning something. So we want to say open here some elements that are relevant of the business culture where these partners of ours are coming from. We want to incorporate those in the way we work so that we can move Zambia forward, develop this country. Let Zambia be what it should be. Leadership. Let's learn how they use their oil resources. Not many natural resources they have, but they've used the limited resources effectively. Let's use our copper, cobalt, nickel, manganese, lithium, all of them, emeralds, sujila, everything. Let's use them properly. That's a message. I don't want to say anything more. Nina ndapafula. Nina ndapafula. Tevyo. The late President Chiluba will say, Vane, twachula pafula. Twachula pafula. Muno muchalo cheso. But ukuchula uku. Ili ingi nifwewo. Nifwewo. Who don't make the right decisions when those decisions are needed. Nifwewo. Who don't work hard. Nifwewo. Who cheat ourselves. Hey, mkwai. Nombanga wa shetani mbuto. Uzakolola chinji no. Hey, ngawaria ne mbuto yonse. Wa shetani mbuto. Nomba ati harvesting muchibemba nja. I know in Chinyanje ni kukolola. Ukasombolenshi. Kabili mbuto waliria. Nomba ukasombolenshi. These are the issues we create for ourselves. Then you point a finger at awe ni echi ulia wini. Ewa letera ma problems. Awe nene mulanda. Sha izibe vye mulelanda. Let's work diligently as a country. God loved us so much. Gave us a beautiful country, rich country, resources. But why having our people to be poor? We have a drought now. Let's work with the government. Let's work with the traditional leaders and the church to ensure we do two things. Feed our people, one. Two, gravitate agriculture to irrigation. Epela, endita mkwai. Wamana badala. Imbubo. We need your support in all these areas. Mopani is one example only. But Shaft 28. Shaft 28. Kuriakuron. Shaft 28. You have seen things are happening already there. 20 years that mine has been dead. But this government, in 2.5 years, there's work going on in Shaft 28. Something going on in Mimbula, Mingomba, Lubambe, KCM. This thing is giving me sleepless nights. But we're working very hard on KCM. We don't want to do it wrongly, because it was done wrongly before. Nabambibalia. So we want to do it correctly. It's difficult. It was messed up, but we're working very hard. Tientu bombele chapamu. Twala sova na kulia. That's my request. Abena Kopala. I can go on. The copper belt is now back in life. Back. And we want to take it beyond what it was in the 80s. In the 70s. Including football clubs. Mufrila Wanderers. Ron United. Nkana. Those clubs will only get better when the businesses are working well. That's what we're trying to do. That's the sequence. Abena Kopala. Abena Mafkwen. Nditamgwe. Let me appreciate once more our partners. Let me appreciate that my colleagues were able to visit us towards concluding this transaction during the holy month of Ramadan. They were able to visit us. That's commitment. That's commitment. And we wish you well as you travel back to Abu Dhabi. And pass our warm regards to my brother, the government, and the people of UAE. But how can I talk this language without thanking the Zambian team, the cabinet that agreed to this transaction, the committee of ministers that worked on this transaction, the technical team committee that worked on this transaction, our advisors, the workers of Mopani who were patient, very patient, the unions, the suppliers, contractors, and various stakeholders, but more importantly, the people of Zambia, who gave us the opportunity to save this country in these capacities. I tell my cabinet colleagues, we're lucky people. Out of 20 million Zambians, you choose this fellow speaking here to be your president. I'm a lucky guy. I must deserve it. I must work hard. I must work hard to be the Minister of Mines out of 20 million Zambians. God loves you. To be the Minister of Finance, Minister of Transport, Minister of Copper Belt, out of 20 million Zambians. We must deserve it by working hard. The mayor of Kitwe. The mayor out of so many people of Kitwe. The MPs, elected officials, councillors. Bantu. Not if you are kulandalanda yo. Bantu. That's my call. But I also call on the people of Zambia to do your part, to work hard, to be focused. You can only help a people that want to be helped. You can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. You can take the horse to the drinking point for water. If it doesn't want to drink water, it will not drink. It will just stand there. Why the horse anyway? Let me talk about cows. And I was listening to one politician, competitor of mine, said, HH likes going to the ranch. This is a useless place of his. He's just looking at cows. Said, really? You're calling cows useless? Really? These beasts can educate all your children. Now, you can see there's a total misunderstanding of what work is, what business assets is. After saying that about HH, afternoon, she's smiling, drives to the supermarket and buys beef from ShopRite, from Pick and Pay, and she's buying the beef from HH. And she enjoys her dinner. Mukwaye epo mperere nesampe.
Another round of applause for the head of state. One more, please, while we are still standing. He deserves a standing ovation, at least for unlocking Mopani today. Thank you very much. We may all take our seats, please. Allow me now to invite the man that has held Mopani together during a very difficult time, and this is Engineer Charles Sakanya, Chief Executive Officer of Mopani Copper Mines PLC, to come and give a vote of thanks. Mr. Sakanya, sir, thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Mr. President Hakainde Hichilema, I, on behalf of management and all employees of Mopani, welcome you to Mopani Copper Mines head office today. You promised 2.5 years ago that you were going to unlock Mopani. And today you have fulfilled your promise. Mopani has been unlocked. Thank you very much, Mr. President. What this means, Mr. President, by finding Mopani in the name of IRH, who have partnered with ZTCMIH to start operating together as partners in Mopani, means now we are going to complete the expansion projects that had not been completed at the exit of the previous shareholder. These projects, Mr. President, are around the Synclinorium shaft, Henderson shaft in Mufulira, and Mindola Dips. These projects, once completed in the next 3 to 4 years, will see Mopani increase production from 3.3 million tons of ore this year to 8 million tons by 2029-2030. This, Mr. President, means that we are going to go from the 65,000 tons of cathode last year, 86 projected for this year, to more than 200,000. The capacity, Mr. President, for the refinery is 225,000 tons of cathode. We are excited that the partner that has come to join you in Mopani, Mr. President, is aware and determined to complete these projects. They are determined to look at value addition. We have been exporting copper cathode for 100 years. It's now time to look at beneficiation. This is part of your vision, Mr. President. Once Mopani is completely capitalized and the development projects are completed, we then are going to see growth, and Mopani will contribute 9% at 225,000 tons of cathode to the 3 million tons. Mopani is looking at expanding and looking at the small-scale miner by looking at oxide copper. That will generate another 40 to 50,000. When that is done, Mr. President, Mopani will contribute about 11% of that 3 million tons. Mopani, after bringing in the equity partner, is poised to grow. It's poised to succeed. We therefore thank you for your resilience, your hard work, your determination, that nothing else was able to discourage you. I want to give for those who go to church. We must find time to go to church. There was a man called Nehemiah. Nehemiah saw the walls of Jerusalem. The city of Jerusalem had fallen, and he decided to rebuild the wall.